experience with technology. And so we're creating a digital platform to bring experiential and social emotional learning to youth, and working together with Play for Peace, as I mentioned, who works in communities in conflict, to spread the platform to communities where they don't generally have access. And then I'm starting a PhD in the fall to work on an impact measurement tool. So.
Excellent. Therefore, your future professor. Very good.
Yes.
Nice. Thank you. Thanks, Kendra. And Donna.
Good morning. I'm in Northern Idaho for the rest of the month. Then I'll be in Spokane and a short trip to San Diego, and then I'll be in England for 6 months come November. And I'm excited about that. And until I get out of my house at the end of July, all I'm doing is packing. No projects, no volunteer, no nothing. I'm showing up for these calls. And other than that, I'm packing and getting out. But after that, I'm really excited to start making some connections over in England so we can spread compassion and do good work over there. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
And there's some good things happening over in that part of the world, too, that we can connect you to. So you have instant family when you get there.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you.
Donna, thank you. Thank you. Marilyn, it's so nice to meet you, and thank you for being with us. You're in Oakland?
Yes. Yeah, Marilyn King. I'm a 3-time Olympic athlete, and I teach something called Olympian Thinking. And it's actually in each and every one of us. So I've had a global initiative in the works for quite some time where we use Olympians as the messengers to young people, deliver the technology, the process through technology, and then have Olympians recognizing kids at bronze, silver, and gold, personal, local, and global levels for how you apply Olympian thinking to things you care about. And I'm delighted to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
And Marilyn, I've heard so much about you through Brenda Guston, who I hope can join us. Maybe that's her calling in. I don't know. We have someone calling in. Thank you, Marilyn, for being here. And I hope you'll come back and again so we can support you and inform you. And there's Brenda now. There you go. Yeah, thank you, Brenda, for inviting Marilyn to our calls. It's really great to have you. Yeah. Who is calling in from 909? Is that Greta? Okay, if I'm not mistaken, that's Greta, and she's driving. She's probably on the 5 freeways going to East.
This is me. Good morning. How you doing?
Good. It is you. Okay. Are you safe to check in?
Yes, I am. Is it my turn?
Well, why not?
Okay, there you go. Well, thank you so much. I have missed you guys for the last few weeks, but we're still working in the background, trying to get that petition going to end the male guardianship. I don't know that will ever do anything, but at least I saw on the news yesterday that there is some talks in Saudi Arabia to end male guardianship. I don't know if you guys saw that article, but there is an article in The Guardian, the Guardian newspaper, about Saudi Arabia looking into ending the male guardianship. That would be a movement, and it would be awesome for all women in Saudi Arabia.
Well, thank you. And I'm going to cut you off because as part of your quick checking, because I know you joined us later and you may not have heard that. We're just doing a very, very quick check-in, but that's really a great check-in because this is your passion. And where are you located?
Thank you.
Yeah. You're located in Southern California, right?
Right.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, and be safe. This is a little unusual for our check-ins. We're just doing a quick little touch base, so Olivia has an idea of who we are and where we are, and also a nice introduction, a way of introducing ourselves to Marilyn, who's new with us too, Marilyn King. Thank you, and I know that I think Kendra, you were next to join us.
I already shared.
I'm looking right at Brisha.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I'm looking right at Brisha going, why isn't she moving? Maybe she can't hear me. And I didn't even realize those words came out of my mouth. Good morning, Brisha.
Having you call me Kendra, oh, you've made my day. Look at that. That's amazing.
I know, right?
Good morning, everybody. I'm Brisha. I'm in San Diego in my studio, I am the founder of the Women's Role and Voice Tapestry, or project, excuse me, and have been with the Charter for Compassion for about a year, and am working. I'm the lead for the Compassionate San Diego, and I'm excited that we're actually really getting going. We have our first meeting this coming week to set up a strategic plan for inviting all cities within San Diego County to become compassionate cities. And I'm on the advisory board for Compassionate California, and there's very exciting news there. So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. Thanks, Risha. I know you have so much to add, and that was really great. Thank you so much. Nancy.
Hey, hi, I'm Nancy Gales. I am in Rockaway Beach outside of New York City. For the moment, I'm not thinking, I have my house up for sale. I'm like, you know, Sandy.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll talk.
Gonna move down. I think I'm gonna move down to Florida, so I'll talk. Yeah, I'm a retired chiropractor, a retired integrative and holistic healthcare practitioner in a way. I am a classical homeopath, so I still do that, telehealth. And basically, I'm waiting for my charter certification patiently so that I can begin my my education, K through 8, K through 12, whichever I'm going to do, compassion. I also work in healthcare policy, state and federal. So right now I'm working to move compassionate healthcare and compassionate Congress. So I have some meetings with my assembly person. I want to do the compassionate integrity and secular ethics training for the Women's Caucus in Albany and move it out. I just spoke to my federal government relations person. Let's get compassionate Congress. I think we need that, ladies.
Nancy, there's a book you might want to read called Compassionomics.
I just got it because you said last time. I just got it. It's fabulous. So I'm on that. So yeah, I'm moving into that whole dimension and see if we can move the dial a little, even in front of the election coming up. Just change the consciousness for a dot, and let's see what happens. That's me.
Thank you so much. If you're joining, it looks like we lost Clay. I know he'll be back. If you joined us since this, the rules of what we're doing right now, we're keeping it very, very short, where we are, and enough about us. So Olivia and also Marilyn, who's now joining us new, can kind of get an idea of, you know, the passions that we're bringing to this work through the lens of compassion. And Brenda, my partner at Alchemy Productions.
Hi there. Good day. So I'm in Northern California. I'm the co-lead for the women and girls sector here. I do work in health and wellness, have a healing center, and also work at University of California at Davis teaching meditation and yoga. And that program is growing. I also teach at the Office of Legislative Counsel. So my passion has always been to bring peace and wellness into the corporate world, which I used to be in. I also had a school for 18 years. So kind of bridging children with adults. I'll just segue to one new wonderful thing that happened this week. I've been working with the Charter since January of 2017 at the same time where I was invited to be an advisor in education and in health and wellness for the Shift Network for a California Visions 2020 summit that we've held here for 2 years. So now Stephen Dinan has decided to take this work and have it be here in Sacramento, which is the capital of the state, but also spread it out in the way that he's able to do through his summit where he's most successful. So he's invested many thousands of dollars in this work. And I got invited to not only be on the ground working with this, but also to be a presenter this year. And what I really love about it is that I was asked to work with trauma release in a presentation. So I'm going to be able to bring some people in to assist on that, to help people with what's going on, you know, all of the things that are crazy in this world, and then how do we clear the trauma in our bodies and be able to speak with dignity and integrity. So, and I started the compassion integrity training, had to take a little hiatus because of my dad, but I'll start back in fall. So
Yeah.
that's enough for now.
Okay. Thank you, Brenda. Yeah, Brenda, it's so good to have you here. Well, Marilyn, for the one person who doesn't know you here or may not know you, would you introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. I'm Marilyn Turkovich, and I live on Bainbridge Island in Puget Sound, 45 minutes by ferry from Seattle. I'm the executive director of the charter, and right now all of my thoughts are going towards pulling together a presentation for the mayors at the International Sister Cities meeting that's happening in Houston on Wednesday and Thursday.
Great, great. Yeah, it would be great to see a map, if there's such a thing, as where the sister cities are. So Brescia might, maybe if you don't already know Brescia, where your sister cities are, you know, in San Diego or around this county. And likewise, we could all, and I know that there are, yeah.
It's a really easy thing to do. We do have a PDF that I put together a couple years ago with each of our compassionate cities, but now it's dated. But if you go to Wikipedia, look up your city, and in every Wikipedia city, they have sister cities. So you just see them. Most places, larger cities, have as many as 5 to 10 sister cities.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. You know, this is such an important part of the work that we are doing, because not only are our ambassadors coming in to inform us what's happening in their community, and then they're getting support from, look at this group of, you know, talented, skilled, passionate people who are all doing amazing work through the lens of compassion, and taking that back into their community. But then we're also all about looking about how can we create a more compassionate city, or engaging in compassionate cities is our end game, if you will, when we can get it into our community level. And not everybody is working at a close local level, but those who are, it only makes great sense. So when we know as much information as we can have that can help us leverage and be better at that work to encourage more cities of compassion and more connection and more depth and breadth in the cities we're working in, it's just good. It's just good all around. So thank you, Marilyn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hey, Karen. Can you give us a quick hello? I know Olivia already knows you, but introduce yourself to those who don't, and where you're located. And hi, Namrata, too. I just saw you.
Hello, everybody. I'm Karen Palmer. I am the founder of Global Kindness Going Viral and the Puppy Love Revolution. I use ancient wisdom, modern science, and technology to raise the levels of compassion, gratitude, joy, love, kindness, and peace on earth. I am the lead for compassionate solving and helping to be a lead with working with Compassionate Santa Barbara. I'm also joined forces with Compassionate California, and I'm so excited because Brescia and I are going to be working together, and we are sisters, and I'm so excited for that because there's so many great things that are happening, and I'm just super excited to be here. And thank you, Olivia, so much for being here to share your wisdom, and thank you all, beautiful, beautiful sisters, for being here. It's so exciting to be, and my brother Clay also, but it's so exciting to be working with all of you and collaborating to create a kinder and more compassionate world. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Karen. Thank you so much. Namrata's got this bad network, but let's do our level best to hear from her.
Hey, hi everyone. I am based in Mumbai, but currently in Delhi. It's holiday time for my daughter, so I'm just traveling around. And I was just back from a writer's retreat. We're planning to do some workshops and essentially focused on writing for change. So I just was warming up for that and hoping to welcome Marilyn soon to India for some of the events that we have planned. Thank you.
Thanks, Namrata. And very quickly, the only update that I have personally is that, as you heard me introduce Brenda Gustin, we have started the enterprise Alchemy Productions, bringing alchemy events to cities, and we're really excited to announce that registration is open for Alchemy of Our Collective Wisdom and Power, and on this project and other projects that engage the conversation of gender reconciliation. We're working with Clay. He's our partner for that, for those events. And it's a real honor to be able to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the birthplace of the Charter for Compassion in Seattle, with Compassion at Seattle and Call of Compassion Northwest. We know that some are already flying in from other places, and registrations are already starting to come in. So alchemyproductions.us is our website and our link, and I'm just really excited. So Brenda, you didn't mention that, so I suspected you thought I would, so I thank you, I appreciate that. And it's really a joy to be working. You know, this sector has brought so many amazing people and connections and information into my life, and I've learned so much from all of you, so it's really just an honor. Oh, Betsy's here. We've got like 30 seconds to go. Yeah, Brenda?
Did Kendra talk already?
Yes.
Okay, just want to make sure that Marilyn and Kendra perhaps get together.
Yeah, they've been connected. I think they've tried to connect. I don't know. Yeah, you guys.
We've been in connection for 6-8 months now.
Okay, that Marilyn, but the other Marilyn.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, Marilyn.
iPad. Okay, got it. Good. Okay. Yeah. Betsy, you just came in, but this is a very quick check-in where you're located, and can you hear? We cannot see or hear you, so we don't know if you're able to talk. I know you've got your little ones.
Can you hear me?
There you are. A quick check-in where you are.
I'm in Virginia, originally from Maryland, and that's, you know, and I do our social page, our Facebook page, and then whatever else I'm needed for, and that's what I do.
And
so it's nice to meet everybody, all the new faces, and it's good to see all the old faces. So, and that's me.
Thanks, Betsy. Thank you so much. Yeah, Betsy is really great. It's just good to have a Betsy on your team, really, and she brings so much wisdom to us as well. Well, that was what we consider a lightning round, Olivia. So I want you to know that this is a record-breaking introduction period, and it was really hard for me to have to edit people, but thank you all for keeping within those boundaries of time. So, Olivia, I sent out your bio. I've done a little bit to introduce you. What more would you like us to know about you? And take it from here. And if you'd like to share the screen, take it away, whatever you want to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds great. So lovely to meet everyone and to hear your backgrounds. I listen with a different set of ears when I hear people's backgrounds, because I'm always looking for, ooh, that would be a really cool course, and well, maybe we should have a conversation about that. And so when I put on my charter hat, that's what I'm always seeking for, and that's what hopefully more of these calls in different sectors will be able to. We want our sectors to really be part of the Institute, and this is a way of getting that word out so that you really understand what it is that we do and how you can participate, I guess. So I have my kind of agenda for today will be just to bring some of that alive for you so that you can see what that work is. My traditional work in the world, the Institute is my volunteer work. Like for many of you, it's the stuff we do off the side of our desk, but it's the stuff that we love most. And the other part of my job, I work in organizations as a consultant and as a professional speaker and facilitator in leadership development training. And so that is one way to bring that passion for me into the world of compassion is through the Institute and looking at education in a different way. I'm also an educator, post-secondary education, and teach some leadership courses as well at the college level. And so I look at it from both of those perspectives around how we're aiming for education to make a difference. And I'll just take a step back to how this whole thing got started. And it's been a work in progress, just like I know the work that you do in the world has been a work in progress as well. I can remember when Marilyn Turkovich, this probably was probably at least 4 years ago, and Marilyn said, you know, somebody is looking for courses, and we hadn't even thought about education. I mean, everybody is working at capacity at the charter, and we had no paid personnel, and we still run on almost limited labor. And so Marilyn said, you know, is there any options of having courses? What do you think about this idea? And the reason it came out was because somebody in Botswana had contacted her and wanted to have compassion training, but it was cost prohibitive to bring anyone in from the US to be able to do that. And so we threw together a small team of people and started playing with this idea. And the first run at it was a complete and utter failure. You know, we had this idea that build it and they will come. And that's not the case. We just thought, well, we're the charter. Who's not going to show up for the charter to take courses? And it was an amazing learning curve with the original group of folks. And we had to make a decision, and we were going to close it down. And the platform that we use, the education platform, is called Rizuku. And they're an excellent online non-educators platform, is what they are. So they're meant for people like yourselves and the type of work that you do. So people who don't need a full-on education platform. And so we went to them, and I basically said, you know, we're going to have to shut it down because, you know, we can't afford this. And they were, you know, when something's meant to happen, the people show up to support you. And sure enough, they said, well, we really like what you do, and so we're going to coach you for free on how to do this right. And which normally you have to pay for that with them. And that's what they did. And they said, follow our model. So we stuck it out, and we kept moving forward. We adapted from their original model to what we knew our members would want. And we were able to turn the ship around. And now we're going into a very strong third year, and every year we continue to grow in our membership. And so, you know, for me, it was a real lesson on you've got to, when you're doing this work, you've got to really just keep putting one foot in front of the other, even when it looks like at points you're thinking, what am I doing, banging my head on this wall. And so for us, the idea of the Charter Education Institute, which our pet name is CEI. So if you hear that term or you see that acronym CEI, that's what we're referring to. And so it really got started with the spark in this idea, and it's just continued to grow. And we put literally thousands of people through courses at this point in time each year. And that is, and what we look at is the ripple effect of that. So we have a couple of things in mind. One is positive programming and positive courses. So if you just look at some of the research around optimism as an example and pessimism, we know that the world is in a crazy making place right now and has been for a while. And so we've got enough of that negative coming in. And the neuroscience is pretty clear that a negative is 4 times more powerful than a positive. And the reason for that is because what it does is when we're exposed to negatives, it boosts our cortisol levels. And cortisol can stay as an imprint in our system for up to 26 hours. Optimism, on the other hand, sadly, doesn't have that same staying power. It will go up very quickly because it kicks in your dopamine and your serotonin and sometimes even your oxytocin. And those hormones go up and down relatively fast. That's why we hang on to negatives and we ruminate like crazy over them. So our concept is we want to make sure it's positive programming and there are courses that heal. And so we don't want our instructors going in with, you know, the state of the world. Yes, we can say that very quickly. We all know it. Unless you live under a rock, you pretty much know what's going on. So we want to swing to the opposite of that and make sure that we leave people with tools and strategies and ways to lift that optimism up in their system in a way, even for the moments that they're in those courses, to realize that there are solutions that we can offer the world. And I firmly believe my corporate work that I do in the world is a lot of work around my own work around kindness and compassion in organizations. And so I know that ripple effect, that when one person ripples out to 3 degrees of separation at minimum. So we know that when one person, so right now we just ran a class called Saging to Aging, and it's for people over the age of 45. And as we age, what legacy are you leaving? And there was 285 people in that course. And I think of even if 100 of those people passed on one piece of information that they learned from that, and that ripple effect goes out, that's 300 people that have been influenced immediately by just one. And you can't go through a course and not bring something back to somebody. And so that's really the model that we work off of very, very consciously and very strategically. And so we want to also empower people to know that they have choices, that you can choose to be in this crazy making world, or you can choose to do something differently. And that's why for us, all of our courses are full of strategies that people can do to make change. We're not interested in talking heads. That's not kind of where we're headed. And we also, the other part of what we want to do is to create community. And so by bringing people together in discussion forums, to have robust conversations, to bring people together, we're moving more and more into live sessions, such as what you see with CIT, we've got other courses coming up in 2020 that we're going to be doing more, involving more Zoom, so that there's more of a personal connection. Our difficulty is we get hundreds of people in a class, and Zoom just isn't going to work for us. So that, but we're looking at alternative ways to, even through simple things like the instructor videotaping themselves, so that there's a little bit more. So our classes are not dormant. They're not on demand. We may move them to on demand at some point. We're headed that way once a course has been run a couple of times, because it's easier access for some folks. But the majority of our courses are, the instructor has to be live as far as discussion forums and participating in those, because we want that sense of community that comes together, and it's real healing that goes on with that. And the other part around the optimism is keeping, when, there's so much research around optimism, that when a person is exposed to an optimistic concept, that they can actually adjust their cortisol levels by up to 23%. So if you think of that just logically, when a person goes through a course, that our ability to help that individual healing for that person, and then the healing of their community locally and globally, that outreach is massive. So that's kind of what we get up every morning to try to do as a team. What I would like to do is I think for you to actually visually see a little bit around what we do. I want to take you through our website and introduce you to that. Give you some ideas around that. If there's something that you're sitting on that you want to have a conversation, I'll walk you through the process that we take people through. It is deliberately onerous, and I'll tell you why. And that's because people come with the best of intentions and the best of stuff that they want to share with the world, and then life happens. And they get part way through, and then something happens and they're not able to continue. So we juggle at any point. Like right now, I think we have about 12 people we're juggling just to get them to the next phase of what we need to do. So there's places that we can only bring people so far. And so we need you to walk through numerous steps in order to get into that selection process with us. And the courses that we offer, everything that we choose to offer, all has to circle back to to compassion. And we know that people have multiple entry points of how they express compassion. So it's not your traditional, this is what compassion is. We have those courses, but we also want people to look through the lens of poetry. Can you write poetry about compassion as a healing process? Can you figure out how you're going to age gracefully and offer compassion to people? What is your contribution to the environment? 2020 is, CEI will be really going after courses for the environment, because we really want to be able to bring that home for people. How can you journal write? How can you learn to have peace through meditation? How can you have better conversations with people? So we try to find, in fact, we've got one course coming up at the end of the year that's going to be on the Black Panther movie, and looking at compassion through that lens. So we're trying to get really provocative as we move along in our programming to reach a very different audience. Right now, in our demographics are showing our audience right now is middle-aged, white, North American, predominantly Christian, little bit of Jewish, fair amount of spiritual, interfaith. And so we're gathering data through when people join a course, we have 3 surveys that they go through throughout the span of that course. And so that data is becoming really interesting around how do we stretch outside of those boundaries for more diversity of instructor, more diversity of courses that we offer folks as well. So those are all the thinking that goes on behind the scenes of how we can stretch those boundaries of creativity with what compassion looks and feels like for folks. We want to be able to have every form of expression of it that we possibly can think of. And so that's why what you offer is so important, because you're sitting on those different expressions that we need to take a look at. We're looking at a course right now of how to, especially with all of the issues with immigration and walls and borders, we're going to be offering a course in the new year from somebody who has spent his career as somebody who has been a refugee. And he's a psychiatrist who will be offering a course on how to understand the trauma of what people go through when they are in those situations, when they've been displaced from their homes. And so that we can have a deeper understanding of, if we're doing any of that work, how do we have a layperson's understanding of how to support them and understand what's been going on for them. Because that's where he actually does a lot of his practice, is behind those lines. So that's the type of stuff that we're aiming to bring you. All right, I've been blabbering on here for a little bit. Any questions just on what I've had to say before I take us on a visual journey?
Can you explain a little bit about the application process real briefly? Like, what kind of things are you looking for? I know that I had started the conversation about us doing a workshop online, a course online, and I'm one of those you're talking about, that you're trying to nudge along, and you're right, life happened and things got real busy, but it's really worth it if you can get all that through. But what does that look like?
Good question. So as an example, and I'll show you when we get onto the site, there's a very simple application form that we do. And I mean simple, 250 word synopsis of what you want to teach. And then we ask you, have you ever taught online? Have you ever taught this live? What the kind of, what are some real basic outcomes that you want to achieve with this? So we're not looking for a lot at this stage. It's just it's a catch for us to be able to capture your own data of who you are, because we have so many of these coming in. From that point, you'll get an email from me, and because I'm one of the main screeners, and Ellen is also joining me now to do the screening. And so you'll get a message that says, like this idea of your course, let's get together and talk. And it's a short conversation, usually no more than 40 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes. I tell you a little bit about CEI and our process. and our process being the fact that we do a 50-50 split with our facilitators. We pick up all the costs of the platform, and we share the commit change, kind of like PayPal. We share those, and that's actually we're aiming for that to actually be picked up by the person in the course. And so that 50-50 split helps us with our administration expenses, and then you get the rest, and as well as you get the exposure. We don't have any paid staff at CEI. We have 4 people who are very dedicated to this cause and who volunteer all of their efforts. All of our prime objective at CEI and our only objective is to raise money for the charter so that they can go do the work that they need to do in the world. That's really what we're here for. So we offer this programming to bring more optimism and all of the things I talked about earlier, to help people understand it for themselves and for others, and for their on a global level. And then our other prime objective is all of what we raise goes to help support the charter. And so that 50% is an important part of that. Some instructors are very kind and they say, just keep it all. It's my donation to the charter. We've had instructors who have written books because they've had hundreds of people in a course and they needed to refine some information from there, and they were able to come out of that with a book from it. So that what you and the PR. If you do other courses, we do not. As long as you don't need our platform, you can pad that off into any different ways that you want to, into coaching, into live courses if you want to. We have all different things in place to support the instructor. We want to support your work and to get it out. So that little synopsis is really about telling us about the work you do in the world and how you visualize this course. Now, the more you've done that, the more you're going to be higher on that list. If you have never done this course before, it's an idea in your head, you're going to take a long time to flush that out. As somebody who develops training programs for a living, I know how long that takes to flush out. So we only have, that may take you a couple of years to get to that place with us if you have nothing but a grand idea.
Thank you. And when are you booking into, by the way? I'm sorry.
We're booking into 2020 right now. So okay. We're looking at all these different instructors and starting to figure out who can do what when and the pattern. So then from that, if you like us and we like you, then it's okay. Now you get what's called a Rizuku walkabout. And when I arrange another appointment with you, and that takes about 45 minutes, we take you behind the scenes of the Rizuku platform and we show you how it works, how easy it is. It's basically, if you can do a PowerPoint and a really good PowerPoint, you can do Rizuku. It's very intuitive and it's got lots of functions, and there are amazing people behind the scenes who support us. We have a university license, which allows us to have 5 classrooms running, and a classroom is also if an instructor is putting a program up, it takes a classroom out so we can't run it. So you can, so you go behind, so once you do that, then we say, okay, do you think your course is gonna fit into this? Do you think you need a Zoom call? You know, maybe we try this. So we have a good conversation around how to be creative with you about that. Then basically the next move will be, you need to make sure either before that Rizuku call that you have fleshed out your an entire curriculum for us. So we've got a couple of pages that say, this is what I want to do. Now, what we have learned is that the sweet spot is a 4-week course. All of the research shows that if you have a course that lasts longer than that, that is non-credited, if it's credited, people are going to show up, right? Ours aren't credited. So 4 weeks is the sweet spot and people start dropping off after that. The average courses that are out there, 30 to 40% is the most you're going to get people to complete anyways. And so what we do is we leave the course up for 6 months afterwards, and we allow people to go in and just go back on the stuff, go at your own speed. The course will end in 4 weeks, but you can still go play if you want to, and it will stay open for that length of time, so you can continue your own learning at your own pace. But the instructor will be finished in 4 weeks. And in that 4 weeks, so you need to take whatever you do, and you need to bring that down to 4 weeks in a curriculum so that we can see it. And then we do the Rizuku walkabout. And then after that, then it's saying, okay, are you ready to go? And if you're ready to go, then I ask you to join the Rizuku. You can do a free trial. It's technically 2 weeks, but because they love us, you can just keep renewing your 2 weeks. And when eventually you're ready, then I take your course and put it onto our platform, and then you move into the charter Rizuku version. But that way you get, and we expect you to take a free course with Rizuku called Rizuku 101. Teaches you how to use their basic stuff and how to understand it. And when I can see that you're committed to doing all of those things, then we go, okay, let's get you actually on the schedule. And the schedule won't come up immediately, where you'll probably be about 8 months out, maybe 6 months. It depends on where we're at with our programming. And we'll have pretty much all of our programming done by October for 2020. And then it's a matter of I need to see the commitment of you doing the Rizuku trial. And once I know that you're pretty close to it, then we can move you over and you can really go at it. And then I go in and critique the course, or Ellen will, and we give you suggestions and ideas. You go back, you fix it up, and then you're ready to roll. That's kind of the process. And that can take a number of months. It really depends on how fast you work, what's on your plate already. And I've had people go all the way to having a date and then can't do it. So because of that, we have like, it's like dating. We kind of keep the wingman or woman in the back. And so we do the same thing. We have backup instructors. All of our instructors come back for a second run, and all of them do, they all do 2 courses with us minimum. And then if they're really good, they'll be back even for a 3rd or a 4th run, like some of ours are, because they're super popular. Okay, let me go take you on a quick walkabout. All right, so we're on the homepage of the charter, and there are different, can everybody see? We're good?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So what you'll see on the right-hand side here, I'm just going to move our little pictures out of the way. What you'll see on the right-hand side is your first kind of looky-loo at CEI, and you'll see our most updated offerings on the right-hand side. So your course goes up here, and the most current ones are always, this is always changing on the right-hand side. And right now you can see that we're doing a call for courses in the environment. They're getting a priority right now because it is a really important topic. But we're doing all different things too. We hope to offer about 4 courses next year on the environment specifically. If you go all the way down to the bottom, you're going to see the Education Institute. And this is our symbol that Marilyn had picked out, and it's really beautiful. It looks like little people and a tree, and the idea that we are all interconnected between each other and between the earth is our symbol. So just clicking into here takes you into our actual website, and I'll just kind of show you a little bit about what we do in here. So our courses are broken up. You'll always see most recent announcements that we're going to be putting another announcement up, looking for another volunteer pretty shortly. And what you see here is the different type. We have 3 different types of courses that we run. So the signature courses are courses that are Marilyn has designed and is continuing to design 4 signature courses. And these are ones that are owned and operated, for lack of better words, by the charter and by CEI. And so they're very specific. 100% of the funds go back to the charter for these, because Marilyn is the one who teaches them as well. Now these, we may have other signature courses that we say these are our permanent courses that are out there that they'll always be running, and they're our way of getting the message out. So what you see here is it's just simply clicking into it, and it takes you into signature courses. So this is what they look like. So we have the Essence of Compassion. All of our courses, our sweet spot is 4 weeks, and our sweet spot financially is $25. We don't tend, and that sounds like it seems ridiculously inexpensive, but we have found that that works. It's not cost prohibitive for people. And we also offer scholarships. So if you really can't afford this, if you can't, some people may only pay $10, but if you can't afford anything, nobody's going to be turned down for a course. We always, if they're signature courses, that can be unlimited. If they're your course, we have an expectation that you will offer at least 2 or 3 scholarships. Sometimes you never have to use them. And then other times we have instructors that say, don't even ask me, just put people in it. We always go back to you and say, are you willing to take this on as a scholarship? It's not onerous. People just have to say they can't afford it. We don't ask for any big stuff. We trust them. So this is a synopsis that we call it. You'll see at the very front. It tells you a little bit about the course. So our Essence of Compassion, Charter for Compassion, those 2 have already run. Both of them had over 250 people in both of those courses. Marilyn is working on this one for October right now, the Science of Kindness and Compassion. It's getting ready, and then Creating Compassion in Action is the 4th. So this is a series that will be as our signature courses. So what happens is, as an example, then a person comes in, they see this, and then you click in, and this is what we refer to as a sales page. And it just tells you more about the course. So this is all stuff that you need to do. It's all part of the expectation. We have a 30-page manual for you that helps you and guides you through this. And this is the template that we use, and all of our facilitators just use the same one. Objectives of the course, breaks the course down. Some people break it into paragraphs, other people break it into bullet points, so that people can get a deeper understanding of and then also who you are and your bios on there as well. So
Olivia, I have a question for you. Are all courses, do they all have the component of interaction using Zoom? Like
no.
Okay, I don't know if you had said that, and I don't want to assume.
No, we
Uh-oh, did you freeze? I believe Olivia's frozen. Am I the only one? Yeah.
Form with questions. Unfortunately, I can't seem to see where I get back.
There you go. We lost you for a second there, but you're back.
Am I back? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just having a problem figuring out how to go back on this because I can't see. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. Okay. So yes, some of them will be Zoom. What Marilyn does as an example is she holds 2 Zoom calls with people, and anybody can come. So even though there was 280 people in one of these classes, about 40 people will show up for that. But they're recorded and then they're put up online so people can view them in their own time. So you could do sessions like that. So it was a Q&A to talk about. Other people will do none of that at all. Other people will do full Zoom. But remember, we can't do full Zoom with that many people. We're limited to how many can show up on a screen as well. But we've got a fair amount of room, and so we're trying to get more into Zooming. But that's a choice that you can make as a facilitator.
Okay, and Namrata's asking a question, and I imagine you're not looking at the chat window because you're presenting here, but allow me to ask a question of you. Are there facilitators who are non-white Christian Jew, since you mentioned that is the main audience? So are the facilitators also representative of the audience?
Well, we don't deliberately go looking for that mix. It really is who comes to us and wants to offer courses. So we are trying, actually what's happening right now, because that's one of our strategic goals, is we're looking for more diversity, and unfortunately it means we're turning other people down in order to leave room for that diversity. It's not from a lack of, it's a lack of people actually putting their hand up to do a course. So right now we've got a course coming up next year who will be a person of color. We have another one coming up in December, person of color, and bringing their perspective. In fact, we've got, Saniqui is doing a very interesting course about people who have problems with their mothers. And so it'll be problems with your parents and how to survive that. And so we do our very best to look for that. We're getting to the point now where we're going to be tapping people on the shoulder in order to get a bigger blend of diversity?
And that's a great question, because we tend to promote this out to our networks, and so that's a natural, that's a real good question, Namrata. Thank you.
Yeah, and one that we're very conscious of, realizing of who the majority of people are that come to say that they want to do a course. So we just need to work harder at how we do that, and it does mean that we have to leave a certain amount of places open in order to do that. So yes.
And,
Olivia, this is Freda. May I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you have a course to learn about freedom, and what does freedom mean, and what is freedom like for people who have never had the opportunity to experience freedom? Do you have any course like that we can utilize?
The closest one we have coming up right now would be the one that we're going to offer that I mentioned by a psychiatrist. So Omar has been a refugee, and he's going to be talking about that freedom and what goes on when people don't have that for them, and what we can do to support that from our side. And so that's the closest we have on that topic right now coming up.
Okay. Any plans for the future to develop some of those? And I'm thinking more for women, and not necessarily refugees, but women that have grown up without any freedom. And we see that population is changing, it's growing, and freedom is coming, but some people don't know what to do with that freedom. Some people don't understand what that meaning is. So I'm trying to figure out a way.
Oh, I love that idea. And this is one way that we're trying to get some of those. So we don't even know sometimes what we need at CEI. We're making assumptions. So when people come forward with an idea for a course, it's like, oh my gosh, that is just awesome. We really, that's something that we're looking for. So please bring those ideas to us around that, because we're not experts in all of these areas, which is one of the reasons we have no courses for women and girls, short of the one that's coming up on relationships with mothers. So again, you're the experts in those areas. I would love to hear. I'll show you where you can get that little synopsis before we close off, and then please bring those ideas forward to us.
Well, I have
some ideas, but at the same time, I will never be an instructor. I have no desire to be an instructor. I'll just have some requirements that I see some of the people I know, they need this. They need to understand what freedom means and choices. And so I understand what people need, but I could never be an instructor.
Even if as a sector, if you gave me a list of ideas that you had, then I can bring that back to the team and we can have a look at, okay, because again, we're not experts, we're generalists. So we rely on you to tell us what those needs might be for your sector. If you just had a list with a couple of lines to explain that to us, then we can keep an eye open for that, or even put a calling out for it that allows that. And you have your own network as well that you can ask them to come forward.
Yeah, and I would like to have workshops and courses that are relating to women and girls, that we could actually get to a place where we could have our own section if anyone's looking for courses on women and girls, that they can come find a plethora of options looking at solutions and ways of improving conditions for women and girls through these courses.
Exactly.
For women and girls. So it's time, bring it on. Let's make it happen. It's just a matter
Sandy, this is Nancy. I'm so interested in doing freedom in healthcare and choices for women and girls. Really, really, really important, especially with the taking away of our freedoms with regard to mandatory services.
Awesome.
Yeah. Let's talk about this on our next ambassador call, specifically about bringing up and flushing out what we could do and what we can all bring, because this is really giving, I think, a lot of not just good information, but courage and inspiration that this is a really important way of getting our work out in the world and into our community. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it is. And that's actually our, to Sandy's point, that's our long range vision, is to actually have sector areas so that so if you think of a university as having, you have all different areas of a university, the School of Business, the School of Economics. We can do the exact same things with our university. We would have the School of Women and Girls, we might not necessarily call it that, but then people
Oh,
know
why
that they
not? I
can go,
love that.
then people know that they can go into those areas as we grow. I mean, our plan is not to stay at the level where we're at. We have lots of big plans to continue to grow that. And I think women and girls is probably one of the key sectors that we can do that with, because you're a robust group. And so that's a really place to start, because you have a lot of institutional knowledge right where we're sitting today.
And I want to be careful not to step too much on if you have an agenda here to get through to a certain place, because it would be good to look inside of it first too. But Namrata asked another really great question. As a matter of fact, I'm reading everyone's comments. It's real great. But would you help at a certain point price out, like what's a sweet spot for a price for, like, if I bring you a workshop, or if Namrata brings you a course, for example, would you advise on, this should be about $50, this should be $250, from your experience, would you advise on that?
Well, we keep it $25. We're pretty adamant about that right now. And we've even offered courses for $10, $15. So usually those courses are ones that are being gifted to us. And so there's no cost sharing at all. We want to get people in them so that we get the message out. So we have all different prices that we may go down with. We don't necessarily go up as much, because what's happening is we're getting a reputation that there's a lot of online programs. So Shift is a great example that came up today. Does great work. And there's Spirituality in Practice, who are partners with us. There is gratefulness.org, who does courses. There's a lot of people out there, and to use John's phrase around co-opetition, that's really what we're aiming for. We want to be able to find our place in all of that, to be able to offer, to get people into courses so that they can start to make a change in the world and feel that they are empowered to do that. So we really want to stay to this price at this point in time. It may go up by $5. That's about the best we're going to do. You're welcome, once you've left us, you are more than welcome to charge whatever you want to. So here's an example of what we do to try to support our facilitators. Good John ran a course. We ran it with him twice. We're going to run it again, and it's super popular. And it really is co-human harmony of how do we get along together in a world where we all have different faiths and ideologies. So he ran that course with us and twice. He then purchased what is called a classroom, and we give it to you at cost. And that cost is $300 for us to buy an additional classroom from Mizuku. And that allows you to offer as many courses as you want, as many times as you want throughout the year. And it doesn't have to have anything to do with us. We don't, because see, what happens is when you do a course with us, you'll get 3 newsletters will go out that are dedicated newsletters that are sent out in advertising for your course. You'll be put on the front page, like you're all over the place. That's how we support you. But once that course is done, some people want to continue to run courses because they have their own business that they're doing. And Rizuku is about $1,500 for one instructor to run one course with an administrator. And this way we can give you this for $300. You can go off and do your own thing. We don't advertise anything for you at this point, but you can run your own courses. So he went out and he's done multiple courses with different dioceses that'll come forward and ask him to run them. He can charge whatever he wants to because it's not under us in any way, and it allows him to build his business and get his word out of what he's doing. But you need to offer a course with us first in order for that to happen. And we're also looking at charging more for people who don't have a course, who haven't done a course with us. but they don't want to pay the full Rizuku price. We actually have that ability as a university to create other smaller colleges off of ourselves, to use that language. So there's lots of opportunities with it. So these are what we refer to as featured courses, and featured courses are what you are. So signature courses belong to the charter, and there are signature branded products. And these are feature courses of what you do. And so these are, again, we have these little synopses that you would write. This is a travel course that's coming up, and traveling and being compassionate as you travel. Sacred spaces, it's all going to be done by Zoom pretty much, with a bit of Rizuku in there for discussion forums. And that's going to, that's coming up on how to create community. So we have all different courses. Compassion and integrity training is run through us in a partnership. So we have all different versions of that where people go on and they can look. And then the last one that we have, which isn't relevant to you as much other than for you to understand. So we have signature courses, affiliate courses, featured courses and affiliates. So affiliates are people like, we have a relationship with Spirituality and Practice, because they offer courses that we don't offer. And they offer people that we don't offer. Their courses are very different than ours, and they're a little bit more expensive, but not by a lot. So here's one of my favorite people. And so this course was running. We need to update all of this. And so we offer all these different, but they're mostly on demand, which means you go take them. There's no discussion forums. They offer a lot of on-demand courses. You're on your own kind of as you work your way through these folks. And we get 10% from them, or 15% relationship with them. And so we have different relationships with other folks as well. So that's kind of CEI in a nutshell. And then over to the right here, if you were to go, what time do we have, Sandy? Do you end up at 9, or am I okay for some Q&A after this, or what?
We typically go till about 9:30. We start seeing people have to leave around 9.
Oh,
so,
okay.
But we never end on time. We never start on time.
Okay, all right. Well, then I'll just chat for a few more moments, and then we can continue to open.
Well, if we can peek inside a course too, if you have a second to show us.
Oh, yeah, sure, if you want to. Yeah, I never thought about it.
It'd be cool to see. I mean, had I not taken the CIT training, it all came clear to me once I got into the course.
Okay.
I get it. All that makes sense now. It just was the big red bow.
Okay, I can do that. What you see on the right-hand side is just, a little bit about the Institute, our purpose, why we do what we do. This is the faculty. It's important for you to meet all the amazing people behind the scenes here. No, not me. The team is just unbelievable. Nancy, these are our educational advisors. We're all there to help and support you to get this off the ground. We want you to be successful. We want you to get your work out into the world. The one thing, we have a couple criteria that are really important, and so we help you to craft all this stuff that you have to write, because you have to do all these sale pages and everything, but we help you with that to make it really, really good. And one of the, and so you get this support behind the scenes as well with us. So Nancy comes with a background in filmmaking and all different areas, and and so there's a lot of admin that goes on for us to get a course up and running behind the scenes. Ellen, and so Nancy, I don't think I even introduced where I live. I live in Vancouver, Canada. And so, and then we have Nancy, who is from Orange County in California. And then we have Ellen, who is from Israel. And then we're just getting it up here. We just got our newest member, Marcel Kors, who works with us as well, and she's actually from Vancouver, Canada as well. So that's kind of the team of folks that are there. So Ellen and I look after you in the beginning of those phases to get you up and going. And then once you're ready to go, you're handed over to Marcel and to Nancy, who then help you with the marketing pieces and things and then Ellen will also help you with your Facebook memes for advertising, all of those things that we give that support behind the scenes, and then you're ready to launch. And then afterwards, we meet up with you afterwards and do a debrief and what are next steps around the course. That's kind of the gang. And then we have something called a writer in residence, which we started last year, which I'm very excited about. And I think that's probably because I'm a writer. I think this is really cool. And so we have our own online writer in residence. And John Smeltzer is quite a renowned writer, and poet is his main form of poetry. He does a very popular poetry course for us. And so he's been our writer in residence, and actually wrote a poem for the charter for its 10th year. And then we've got, this is the piece that you would want to know about. If you just click into curriculum guidelines, really simply right here, you just go into the facilitator application, and this is it. This is how simple it is. Just tell us if you got some links or Facebook pages, anything that we can take a look at to learn more about you. What's the name of your course? Give us a real short synopsis of what it is, and some learning outcomes. Had you ever taught it before? It's important for us to know, because we need to know what your level of experience is with this topic. And that's kind of it. And then what sector do you think that this course fits into? And that's it. And that, as soon as you fill this out, it's on Google Docs, it comes right to us, and then we line up a phone call with you and we start the process. We offer scholarships, like I said, so nobody has ever denied a course with us, and nobody has ever taken advantage of that. We don't ask for anything other than just tell us why, and in a letter, and then we support people with that, and it's never abused. We have some CEI blogs, so if you are a blogger, which most people who do courses do something, we have different people, especially if you've got a course coming up, like Diane has a course in a book coming up. And I always encourage you, if you are an author, we can't make it so that people have to buy the book, because it's too cost prohibitive, but you could certainly offer them a discount, or you could say that here's the course, and if you want supplemental reading, here are pages in the book that you may want to, if you've chosen to buy the book. So we just have all different, we support them with being able to put them into the blog. And so this takes you right back to her course that's coming up as well. And that's kind of CEI in a nutshell. I can go and snag a course if you want to take a look at it right now. And while I'm doing that, just Sandy, if you could just see if there's any questions that I can answer while I'm going to grab.
And Olivia, just to add, this is Marilyn, for folks to take a look at the Global Read, which is also under in conjunction, yes. Just because we have an incredible series coming up with some remarkable people, and the next one we have is actually, I think, next week or the week after, is on white fragility. And you could probably keep scrolling down for a second.
Right there.
Yeah, with Robin DiAngelo. We have the former president of Ireland, Mary Robinson, with her brand new book. This fall, we have Daniel Goldman, who is most famous for emotional intelligence, and his brand new book on the force for good with the Dalai Lama. And so it's a wonderful series, and it's free, each one of them.
Yeah, and these are amazing names that are joining.
And this book, Aristotle and Dante and the Discovering the Secrets of the Universe, is an incredible book for young people, but I dare say it's for adults as well. And it's a really wonderful read.
Okay, we're back up to that. All of them? Oh, there we go. Drawdown. Oh, right. Drawdown is another one that's coming up. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Okay, so
Does anyone?
any
Yeah, I
questions
mean,
while I go looking?
sure. Now's the time to ask any questions. Does anybody? I can't see you, so if you have any questions, unmute yourself, and now's the time, or a great time, to ask the question.
Oh, hey, good morning. This is Donna. I don't really have a question, but I wanted to offer up, I put in the chat that Ann Amberg, who works with the Center for Partnership Studies and Rian Eisler's work, all of her partnership work is nearly specifically focused on the environment. She spent some time over in England at the Schumacher College. And anyways, I thought she might be somebody that Marilyn would want to reach out to for environmental courses. I know she's done some environmental courses for the Center for Partnership Studies. And so she's got experience and the environmental. I think she did something around the sacredness of the earth and the environment and something like that, where she put partnership with the earth. And so I'm sure that she could not spin, but focus it in a compassion. That just seems to go hand in hand. So I'll throw that out there.
Excellent.
Yeah, and if you need her contact information, I can give that to you.
Sure. Absolutely.
And Kendra, just to answer your question, yes, we're one of the founding members of the SIN network. So almost everything we do in conjunction with them.
Okay, here's a quick walkabout of Rizuku. We're behind the scenes right now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on and I'm going to mimic a course. I'm going to take over Good John's course, actually, so you can take a look at what that looks like. What is really cool about this particular, what happens with Rizuku is that you can actually see the progress of students. So you'll be able to tell how far along Olivia is in your course. And if she only got 10% in, and then you could reach out if you wanted to, or how many have actually completed.
Now, and Olivia, we're looking at the global read still. I don't know if you've gotten there yet. You have to unshare and then reshare.
Oh, I do. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Tricky.
I was having a grand old time.
I figured that we wanted to know too.
Now you can see?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just going to take you into.
This is your dashboard we're looking at. These are all the courses that you signed up for. Okay.
No, because I'm an administrator, I'm taking you behind the scenes.
Yeah. I'm just figuratively speaking. Yeah.
So this is just gives you an idea of when you're doing development of a course. It's very simple. You have everything from your traditional edits, and it kind of runs like Microsoft Office in a sense. You can move your courses up and down if you created something and you want to adjust it in any way. And this just,
sorry.
What is really nice about Rizuku, so this is behind the scenes. So this is actually you creating the course. You can cut and paste into it. You've got some very basic information that you can do from. It doesn't give you a lot of. It doesn't give you you've got a little bit of color you can use. You've only got 3 headings to choose from. And so, I mean, there's some basics, but it's all that you need. The courses look pretty good. You can cut and paste pictures into it. So you've got some script that you want people to read, and then you can put polls in. People love polls. You can put downloadable resources in that you want people. That could be anything from an exercise to music, and then you have a prompt here where you can put a question in, and that's what students will see. So this is what it would look like for you. Let me just show you what it actually looks like for the student. This is what the student sees for the most part, other than you're in the student view for the teacher. So you have all your lessons up here. You click into each one of these and the lesson changes. And then where it says edit this activity, that normally is click when done. So when the student clicks that, it takes them to the next lesson, and it then records their progress for you so you can actually see it. So you can see that it looks much nicer. You can use really nice visuals. And this is where you put in your discussion question, a little picture of you. People can upload videos, people can upload pictures. They have great conversations with each other. And so here's an example of all the different discussions that are going on in this particular class, where we create that sense of community. People, and that's why it's really important that you participate in these discussion forums, because the more you participate, the more people are in there with you. You can do everything from upload videos for people to watch yourself. And so you'll see, I don't know if that's actually, this is a video here, I believe. No. You can put links in, so you can link them back to different websites, to more information for people to be able to use. And we help you kind of figure out, here's some suggestions. Between Ellen and I will give you a fair amount to help you once you've actually put it up. But we take you on a walkabout like this and give you a whole bunch of ideas from we'll put you through 2 different courses so you can actually see what other people have done. And putting in videos is really important. People love watching those. And we don't ask you to do a link to a video because you don't want to break that link with people. You can actually embed the video right in here and they can just click right into it very easily. So
I love this, and I love the platform that CIT used, which actually, I mean, not the platform, the format, actually visually look different than this.
It does, because what CIT has done is they use Zoom for 2 hours for 10 weeks, and people come together. They don't put their course up here. They're using Rizuku as a means for people to have conversations if they need to ask questions, to be able to download the materials if you want to, besides their own, because their website lacks the ability to be really interconnected, and that's why they're using the Rizuku platform in tandem with Zoom. So it's a very different process but they really like Rizuku, and they're choosing to continue to use it because it just keeps everything intact in one easy place.
I see. Yeah, I'd like to suggest that everybody take at least one signature course to really get into it and experience what it's like to be a student or a participant in a course. To get the full body experience of, if you're interested in doing a course, because the interactive play is so important. You can put, at the end of every course, if you want to have a dialogue, you can just put the link and the time of the call for a Zoom call, so you can really personalize it within the framework that Olivia is showing us. It's really great.
Yes, it's a really, what's lovely about Rizuku is it's simple, it's visual, it allows people to, they also have the ability to do webinars on here. They don't want to be the Zoom of the world, that's not their platform, but they do have webinar platform. So as an example, I could put a PowerPoint up there. We could all agree that we're going to meet tomorrow at 7 a.m. I'd put a PowerPoint up. I'm not going to see you. You'll see me. That would be it. So it's more of an educational tool, and you can take people through, they'll hear you. And so it's personalized to a certain point. But it's not the face front like you're seeing right now. Yeah, but they do have that capability as well. So and what's really nice is you get all the analytics at the end of it. How many people completed your course, where they are along that, in that discussion, what that looks like. This is, something as an example, what the instructor sees, that, there's been 26 topics, 80 people have been present on those topics, and there's been 802 dialogues occurring with that. And so you're able to actually see that and manage it. And that's nice for the instructor, because this is an example of what you can see behind the scenes, so the instructor knows how far along you are. And some instructors, you have to remember on courses online, and this is not, we are fitting right into the statistics that I did a lot of research on. Only 30% of people on average complete a course, and about 20 to 30 never even started. So the amount of people with zeros that paid for a course and didn't even open it for whatever reasons, that's about average.
With the remaining time that we have left, and Namrata has our words of wisdom from Namrata's corner today. She has a really great idea here, but I just want to say, when I introduced when I informed everybody of this call, and I had said this is a really generous opportunity to take advantage. I mean, really take advantage of this opportunity. I mean, look how robust it is. What a great opportunity it is. It doesn't cost us anything unless we are giving our resources, our registration fees back to the charter, right? And it's such a great opportunity. I don't know anyone else that does this for anybody. I just think it's so great. And I personally am so grateful for it and want to take advantage of it personally as much as I can. Now, Marta has a really great idea. She says that when people sign the charter, it would be wonderful to offer them a course for free of cost during the year with a code so that maybe you can promote the CEI and introduce them to various courses as well. And I would also like to suggest that perhaps a CEI course for free on a broad brush overview of the charter, because there's so much to know about the charter. You know, I just a quick course.
Well,
they could also
what we do,
CEI at the same time.
Maryland's second course is specific to that, and it's called Charter for Compassion, turning compassion and action.
Right.
And what it does is it takes you from the beginning to the end of the charter. That course is deliberately $10 because we want people to enter into it to learn more about the charter and what it is that we do. That course is going up as an on-demand course relatively soon, so that people can take it at any point and know pretty much everything you needed to know about who we are and what we do and how we do it. Do you want to speak to that, Marilyn, at all?
Yeah, we're right now in the middle of translating also the signature courses into Spanish, and hopefully we'll be able to do it in other languages as well. But I think that it is a kind of an exciting course because it goes historically from the beginning of the charter, lots of small, short videos. Just a lot of very practical information about the charter, its structure, and the work, an introduction to compassionate cities, an introduction to all the sectors. So yeah, I think it's a good idea. There's a lot of people who signed the charter, so it'd be interesting to see how many of them would take advantage of something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can definitely have that conversation of.
But you've convinced me today, Olivia, that we probably are too generous.
You mean with the $25?
No, not with the $25, but like giving people a line on Rizuku to start up, and to offer their own courses. Just because Rizuku can be rather expensive for us.
Yeah, it is.
And while the people who are facilitating are getting 50%, in reality we're not getting 50% because we have to pay the bills of the platform.
Thank you for that. I want to thank everybody. We are literally out of time and I have to close my computer. Yeah, Brenda.
Well, the one thing I wanted to say about Marilyn's course about the tour of the charter, I think it's such a reasonable amount of money, and it is thorough about the charter. Sorry for the dizzy walk. And so one thing I asked the Compassionate Capital Region to post it on their website. And so I think that when we are able to do that in our different cities, I think that's really helpful, because we have a program of training ambassadors, and it just makes sense to have people more familiar with everything the charter has to offer. Because so many people aren't. They're busy doing the work here, in their city. And the thing is, there's been so much foundational work done by all of you. So anyway, just wanted to offer that as a suggestion.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. That's a really great idea. I want to thank you, Olivia, so much for that really great, thorough walkthrough and inspirational presentation. I'm inspired, and I think that, and the fact that we're recording now, I can send this out to all of our ambassadors, over 100 ambassadors. not everybody can make it on a Friday. So thank you all for your input. I've saved the chat, which if there, I'll go ahead and send out all the words of wisdom here also in my report. It'll go out hopefully by our next announcement. Yeah, with the copy of this recording. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for the opportunity, Sandy. Appreciate it.
Oh, anytime. Yeah, thank you. I mean, we're all operating in generosity here because we've been gifted so much. Zoom has gifted us this platform, and these amazing people are showing up with their generous time. And so it's all reciprocal. It's all self-serving and mutually beneficial. It's all good. That's what I'm saying. So thank you. Thank you so much.
All
okay.
Right. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Bye.
Olivia.
Bye.
Olivia, I did pop Anne's email and for Namrata, who also asked, in the chat. So it's in there. When it gets sent out, you can go back to the chat and find Anne's email.
Oh, thank you so much.
You can save. You can go ahead and save the chat yourself as well.
Oh, that's right.
At the bottom of the in the bottom.
Oh, okay.
It's a save chat. Now you'll find that probably in your documents folder.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Got it. All right.
Thanks,
Bye.
Donna.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Brenda. Thanks, Samrata. Everybody. And of course, Olivia. Bye.